Welcome to another edition of Teach the Geek Interviews. My name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. Consider checking out the Teach the Geek to Speak Society. It's a monthly membership that's meant to help people along their public speaking journey, offering them ongoing support. To learn more about it, you can go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Today, my guest is Seth Greenwald. Though he started off as a designer, he eventually moved into project management. And he also started his own business, the Creative Warrior Group. In addition to being a speaker and author, he is a presentation coach for technical managers and creative leaders. I'm keen to ask him about his days as a designer, the transition to project management, and the motivation for starting the Creative Warrior Group. Welcome to Teach the Geek Interview, Seth.
Thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate it.
So first question, from the bit of research I did on you, I saw that you got a degree in mechanical engineering. What was the motivation to get that degree?
Oh, the motivation is that I like taking things apart, breaking them down and putting them back together in a better way. Like, I guess the most specific thing I can tell you is that when I was 8 years old, I snuck into my parents' bedroom because they had an old alarm clock that didn't work. And I wanted to fix that for them because it annoyed me that this thing didn't work. So I took it all apart, cleaned all the pieces, made sure I understood all the mechanisms. Bedroom because they would be mad at me, but they did have a new alarm clock and it made me feel very good. So I just went from there.
Nice. And then I also saw that you got a degree in industrial design. What was the motivation for that degree?
Oh yeah, industrial design from Pratt, engineering degree from Cooper Union, both in New York City schools. Well, you know, engineers are all about analysis, right? Breaking things down and making sure they understand how things work. Industrial design is about synthesis, right? Putting it back together. It's something I remember when I was in my college dorm. I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do a HVAC work? Do I want to? I design the cars. And I could design the engines, I can design the transmission system, I can design, you know, any of the internal systems, but I really wanted to design also how the car looked. So I went into industrial design because that's more about the, at least in Pratt, systems. And with industrial design, I had the external, so I can do a whole car that not just looks good, but moves well too.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So when you worked as a designer, what kind of work did you do?
Oh, it's a long and varied list of things, but mostly I didn't get to Detroit. I didn't design too many. And I got a job designing furniture for an artist. They were just opening up their, and they needed somebody. And I said, I can do that. And since I was also in industrial design school, I was able to draw. So I showed them a picture of a newfangled pencil sharpener. I might be a little older than your audience, but there used to be things called pencils and pencil sharpeners. So I showed them how I took apart the traditional pencil sharpener and made it and it was fantastic. It wasn't.
Wow, wonderful. And then, but then, I also mentioned in the intro that you eventually moved into project management. Was that something that you had planned on doing, or was that just a natural progression?
Yes. That's a very good question because I love designing. And I did most of my design work was architectural interiors. So I did a lot of retail stores. You might see some of the stores, like remember the Speedo stores and the Toomey luggage stores. I did the high-end boutique stores in the malls. And that was way back in the 90s and the 2000s. But then around 2005, 2006, I was sitting at my desk and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out on something. I'm just here designing, looking at this computer screen for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I feel like I'm missing. So I said, I better get out from my computer screen and see what else is out there. And I found management. I found a manager. And I was able to meld my creativity, right? Because I have a team of designers working for me. So I'm still involved with the design, but I'm a team manager. So I'm a very people oriented. So it's just, just both sides of my personality, the analytical and the synthesis. I was able to activate both. So I feel that was the motivation, just trying to get a balance in my engineering.
Yeah. Gotcha. When did you realize that public speaking could be of benefit to you?
Oh, as soon as I had to organize my first team meeting, it was not a good one, because it's different sending emails out to your team than being live and in person and in front of the team and leading the meetings in the moment, having no time to prepare. So I realized I really needed help in my impromptu speaking skills. I was pretty good at preparation, right? I was good at designing. I was good at drawing, preparing, emailing, but I wasn't very good at doing it on the spot, off the cuff. So that's when I realized I needed some help. That kind of changed my life because it really helped me become comfortable.
Yeah, I actually struggled with impromptu speaking too, but then again, I struggled with prepared speeches too. I struggled all around.
It's not easy, Neil. It's not easy for us engineers, just analytical types who want to be perfect and write out every word and then read the speech off the teleprompter. But no, it's you might as well just email it. If that's what you want to do, just email it. So you have to be a little bit of a presenter, a little bit of a showman. And that's what Toastmasters helped me to find, because I did have that in my personality. I just had to pull it out. So now I do very much enjoy being on stage. I'm a professional speaker. In addition to being an engineer, I call myself Sherpa Seth. And I speak all around the country at a lot of engineering conferences and engineering management conferences.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and my next question, what was the motivation for you to start the Creative Warrior Group?
Well, that was an extension of my creative personality, because it's been like 15 years already that I started that. I was working as an engineering manager, but on the side, I didn't feel fulfilled, Neil, in terms of creativity, because it was mostly management. I wasn't doing the actual design anymore. So I started the group, the Creative Warrior Group, on the side because I wanted to do more creative stuff. I still wanted to be creative. So I launched. I was commuting into New York City, where I worked for the Army Corps of Engineers. So I had like 55 minutes on the train. A book on creativity. And the first book was called Secrets of a Creative Warrior. And it's all about how to find your inner creative warrior, how to find that entity that pushes you to be the best you can and pushes you to open up your mind and see things in a new way. So that just blossomed into a whole business. Because from that book, I wrote another book called Answering the Call of Your Creative Warrior. And just the act of writing just made me feel so fulfilled, because I not only did I write it, but I self-published the books. So I was able to design the cover. I was able to design the inside. I was able to write and do all the things that I missed doing as a manager. So it just fulfilled me in that way. And then it just blossomed into public speaking, about the books, speaking about the books. So now I'm more known as Sherpa Seth, your friendly guide up to the peak of public speaking excellence.
Nice. So I guess you did kind of mention Toastmasters, but in addition to Toastmasters, what did you do to get better at presenting in front of people?
Oh, it's always practice, 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 right? In Toastmasters, you just get up and you kind of fall on your face the first time. But I always tell people that's the first time is the hardest. It's easier as you go. You just gotta go one step at a time. So I just found a natural progression. I'm a kind of a continuous improvement kind of guy. Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, a single step. That single step going into Toastmasters, and I never better and better because I found my creative warrior, my inner creative warrior, which is my inner public speaker, my inner authentic, I call it my authentic speaking self. And once you find your passion, your authentic self, there's no turning back, because then you found that jewel, that fire that ignites you and pushes you forward in life. And I just feel I didn't have to be a professional speaker. It was just enough that I found my authentic voice. But I just am the type of guy that just wants to keep on getting better and better. It's called Kaizen in Japanese, and it means continuous improvement.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I think
growth, like a growth mindset. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have a process for putting your presentations together? And if so, what is it?
The process. Yes, the process is that I keep it loose in the beginning, right? And I've noticed another part of my creative warrior personality is what I call a muse, right? Muses are real, right? So what I do is keep my ideas loose and don't write anything down for the first few days. Just get my ideas onto a sheet of paper. So the process is to make sure you have a bunch of 3x5 index cards next to your bed. So when your muse wakes you up at 3:30, like it does with me, you're able to capture your ideas on the index cards. And once I have a bunch of index cards, like like here, this is a bunch of index cards for my next webinar, which is happening on September 15th. And once I get these cards, then I can start putting together my slideshow. But I don't just jump into it. It has to organic. And then it just gels, it just gels from having all the ideas, and it's just a way that I can synthesize it. So I guess what I'm saying is not like a linear process. It's more of a synthetic process, an organic process.
Gotcha. Do you ever get nervous before you give presentations? And if so, how do you deal with your nerves?
Oh yeah, I always get nervous. Everyone gets nervous. Right now, most of it, since I've been doing it for so long, is mostly exciting. I'm excited, nervous. But what I do is simply remind myself that people like my public speaking topic, and they're there to hear me. And I know I have good ideas, and I know I can help people. And I know that if I present it in my authentic voice, that's how I need to be. I can't be, it just needs to be me, right? It just needs to be me in a combination of insightful and entertaining way. And I just enjoy, I guess what I'm saying is, I understand nothing's perfect and everything's in flux. And I just let things out. I've prepared enough. in the many weeks I prepared my PowerPoint. It's there. So I have nothing to worry about. I just go forwards. I don't doubt myself. I just let it go. You have to remember you're in the moment, right? You can't go backwards in time. You can't go forwards in time. The only thing that exists is the moment. So I just remind myself, stay in the moment, get out of your head, stay in the moment, and have fun. That's the biggest part. Have fun. Why do you do anything if you don't have fun doing it?
Yeah, I fully agree with you. When I think about nervousness, I often think of it in the sense that if you're not nervous, you don't really care about the outcome of the presentation. And another thing is a way to deal with them, at least in my opinion, is to visualize success. And I don't know, that might sound kind of airy-fairy to some people, but at least for me, it absolutely works. I close my eyes and I picture how I want things to go. And another thing is, if you tell yourself that you're a bad public speaker, you will be, because it just reinforce that in your mind. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do well, and then you're much more likely to do so.
Yeah, no, own best friend, not your own worst enemy. And that's a big part of the inner creative warrior. Like I see my inner creative warrior as the opposite of my inner critic. The inner critic that says, like you say, I'm no good. I'm not a good public speaker. I can't do this. The creative warrior is what battles that inner critic voice. And it's there. It's a real thing. Just as if your inner critic is real, your inner creative warrior is real. And I recommend, if any of your listeners want to learn more about it, then look up my book, the second one, Answering the Call of Your Creative Warrior, which is basically a 21-day journey of how I went from inner critic listener to inner creative warrior powerhouse person.
Okay, wonderful. So for the people that are listening or watching, they want to get better at presenting in front of people. Maybe they're engineers, they have to give a presentation in front of management or just in front of vendors. They have to give a presentation in front of an audience. They're not that great at it. What tips could you offer them so that they can become more comfortable in public speaking?
Well, the tips are many. I can't really reveal, Neil, right now, the formula that I've created to help your audience be better public speaker, because on September 15th at my next webinar, it's a free webinar for SCORE, and of course your audience is invited. I'm going to reveal my formula for creating meaningful customer connections. And this is a new formula that your audience can use to be a better public speaker. But having said that, my first formula was called the engineer's formula for public speaking excellence. So if they really are interested in becoming better public speakers, then look up my third book, called an engineer's formula for public speaking excellence. And in there's 5 steps in the formula. There's arm yourself, there's preparation, there's message, there's authenticity, and then there's connecting with your audience. And the September 15th webinar is getting focused on connecting with your audience, right? Because a lot of times new public speakers only think it's about them, but it's not about them, it's about their audience. So that's what I'm going to go through with my new formula on September 15th. And I'll give you the link that people can join me. And if they do want to come and sign up, I'm going to give them a free flow chart on how to become a better public speaker. And that's only if you go to the link I'm going to give you, Neil, and they can sign up. And when they do sign up, they'll get a free flow chart that I've created just for this event on September 15th.
Well, I assume that the engineers are going to really enjoy getting a flow chart.
It's spontaneous. It's no one else understands it except us engineers.
No question. This has been great talking to you, Seth. Thank you so much for being a guest. How can people get in touch with you?
They could simply go to my website if they want to sign up for my and that's at creativewarriorsecrets.com/join Sherpa Seth. So I'll send that to you as a link, but that's the way they can go to see my website and sign. Sherpa Seth's creative community.
Sherpa Seth. Rolls off the tongue. Well, everybody, that marks the end of another edition of Teach the Geek interviews. My name is Neil Thompson, founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. The first offering of the consider checking out the Teach the Geek to Speak Society. It's an online monthly membership meant to help people or help engineers and scientists ongoing with their public speaking journey. And you can learn more about it at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care and stay safe. Thanks, Seth.
All right, take care. Bye-bye, everyone.